Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. I'm Gino Buccola alongside Ashley Mailloux with producers Bobby and Vinny helping us out as we get you ready for some graded stakes action over at Mountaineer. It's their big day with the Grade 3 West Virginia Derby on Sunday, August the 9th. Let's take a look at the field that's lining up for this one. Ashley, I'm curious if the owners of JJ Gray were listening to you, because I think you said that after JJ Gray won the Iowa Derby, maybe they should go to the West Virginia Derby, and that's where they head. And JJ Gray is just in awesome form right now, and I think should be right on the tip top of contenders in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think when you look at his progression and the spacing of his races, this is one reason Mountaineer makes sense for the West Virginia Derby. It's also $400,000, not to kind of
Yeah.
sleep on that. And everyone else is looking at the bigger targets, such as Jim Dandy or the Travers, or even kind of working towards the Pennsylvania Derby. But I think this is a underrated stop along the way for looking for picking up some purse money. And off the Iowa Derby, he looked quite good winning that. So not really shocked here to see him at 2-1 in the morning line.
I think he's absolutely the horse to beat. Let's see what Timeform US thinks how this race will shape up with the pace projector here. Looks like it could be a few horses like up front, but I don't know if they're going to be lining up on the lead in here. And JJ Gray is fine going to the lead. He's fine sitting off if one or two others want to go. He's shown that versatility, so I think he'll run really well in this spot. Ashley, let's start out with Nehalem. Just 1 for 9, and that win came against a maiden 12-5 claimer group at Indy. He's never faced stakes company before, and he just looks a little bit overmatched on speed figures with a 68 buyer top. I think the next lowest in the field is like 80.
Yeah, I got to pass. I mean, he was third last time out, but it was 12-5, 9 winners to 2 life. He was third at 74-1. So to me, it's just he's not quick enough to keep up with this bunch.
Baytown Dreamer is the next one up. He's multiple stakes placed, but he is 0 for his last 11, and he hasn't been closer than beaten like 3 lengths since facing winners. They'll move back to the dirt with him. I just can't really get a feel for who he is in here. I feel like I just need to see a race from him competitive against a level like this. Can you make a case for him here?
No, he's a pass for me, also because of the surface here. Like, I really don't love any of his dirt races. He was third
No.
in the Smarty Jones, where they didn't go all that quick early on, and he was still beaten by 5 1/4. It just feels like to me when I look through his body of work, it's the sneaky turf races where he can get a piece, right? We actually saw a race like that at Turfway as well, where he finished fourth. He's just another one. He's a really tough sell for me in here, especially given the surface.
We move to Trendsetter. He's actually a Grade 3 winner. He won the Lexington back in April at Keeneland. Most recently, he was third in the Ohio Derby behind Chip Honcho and Oselli. He had a good start. He backed off, sitting like 2 or 3 lengths off. Did lose position a little bit inside. He angled around at the top of the lane, kind of grinded up for a pretty solid third. And now when you look at his body of work, Ashley, there's about 5 or 6 races in a row that are pretty solid. I mean, he generally shows up with a pretty nice performance. He's not like a monster. He doesn't have crazy fast speed figures, but he's just really solid, really workmanlike. I think he's going to be in the mix in here. I'd probably look for other horses to put on the win end, to put on top, but I think he fits really well with this group.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot for him. I think this is another one where you look strategically where you want to go. West Virginia seems like a really good stop. He needs to do more, though. That's my concern,
Agreed.
is that, you look at the Lexington, he beat the Hell We Did fair and square easily, but the Hell We Did was doing things differently, right? A horse that was stretching out from lower levels. I don't know. The Peter Pan, meh, that'd be how I described it. And then the Ohio Derby, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. When you look at the Ohio Derby and how horses fared coming out of that, that's something to kind of factor in. I mean, Chip Honcho was 4th out of 5 in the Jim Dandy. Oselli needs to do, a little bit more as well. So I'll use him here. I can't use him on top.
Completely agree. I just like others better. I'm going to need a way bigger price than 5-2 if I want to put him in the win end, or make a win wager on him. JJ Gray is a multiple stakes winner, and he's now 4 for 4 going long on dirt. One of them was on a wet track. He's looking for his 4th straight win. He has speed, but he doesn't need the lead. He was able to get an easy lead last time out and just kick clear at the top of the lane. I think we have the replay right here. And he defeated rival Maximum Effort in that race, who finished third that day. Just a lot of positives about him right now, Ashley, and they're handling him the right way. They haven't thrown him to the wolves in any of those bigger races yet. Like you were pointing out, they don't put him in the Travers or they didn't put him in the Jim Dandy. He's in spots where he's going to be 8-5 favorite, 2-1, 3-1. And he's just been able to really improve now and then build that confidence up.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Going long on the dirt has been the key to success. I think when you look at the Iowa Derby last time out, he had to work a little bit for position in the early stages, right? Playing the break. You see that in the quarter coming up in 23-4, but then you also see 47-4. So they were able to slow it down a little bit. And then 112. At that point, it's almost like a workout, right? I mean, 6
Yep.
furlongs and 112 is quite doable and something that's not going to stop a horse like him on the front end. So I thought it was a great performance. Was the buyer as good as his prior one? No, but I wouldn't read into that. That track was also fast two back. And you talked about it earlier, Gino. He does not need the lead to win. He's
No.
fine if he just has to kind of mow down one or two. And I think against this group, he could get the dream trip. So he's hard to look past.
Horse that I'm a bit intrigued by in this race, if he's the right price, is Zinhall. Zinhall has raced 4 times, Ashley. The 3 races on the dirt are actually fine. I don't mind them. The 1 race on the turf, you can probably put a line right through. And in that most recent race, he was in the Indiana Derby. He was behind a horse named Leading Change, who's 2 for 2 for Brad Cox and earned a 95 buyer speed figure that day. And just kind of looking at Zinhall, it's a horse who I feel like wants a little bit more distance. His dam was a grade 2 winner and won all the way up to 1 mile and 5/16. So maybe here at 1 mile and an eighth, getting a little more real estate could help a horse like Zinhall. I also don't mind Johnny V jumping aboard with the blinkers on because he just seems like a horse who's got the ability but hasn't put it all together mentally yet. And I think maybe with the combination of like the blinkers and a Hall of Famer like Johnny V, they could really get a lot out of this horse. So I'm curious, like if he is in a 5-1 or above range, he might be interesting value in this race where I feel like JJ Gray kind of stands out from everyone else. This to me was the only other horse that I thought I could kind of make a case for jumping up and improving.
I agree. And if I'm not mistaken, he might have been entered originally in the Curlin and then not, I
Yep.
don't know. They know it, no real intentions of running him. He's been scratched a couple of times here and there. I think it's been about trying to find the spots for him. Took him a little bit to put it all together, but I think, you draw a line through the turf race. I like the way that he broke his maiden. I have no problem with connections using Horseshoe Indianapolis as a place to do that, right? We see trainers do that, not only Jonathan Thomas, but Brad Cox. You got to split up your horses. You have to look for spots what you're looking for. So I thought it was good. Indiana Derby, it was all right. It is interesting to note, though, you can see with the rules of West Virginia, Lasix, you can run on Lasix, it looks like here in the
Yep.
program. I think that's something to factor in. You talked about Johnny V, blinkers on. There are a lot of things in here that maybe make him the sleeper of the bunch.
Move to Maximum Effort. He's multiple stakes placed, but he's still a maiden. 4 straight races where he's been fine. He's finished kind of like a non-threatening third, though, in 4 straight races. Some nice horses, though, Ashley. He's been behind JJ Gray, who's really sharp. Baby Vino came back to win the Haskell. He's won 3 in a row out of the woods, won next out, and was 3rd in the Indiana Derby. So those are some good horses and some good running lines. He just hasn't really been competitive in those races. He's been kind of non-threatening thirds well behind. I could absolutely see him being a horse that, picks up some pieces, rounds things out. I just don't know if he's going to be able to turn the tables on JJ Gray or if the race sets up very well for him because I do think he wants a little bit of pace.
Yeah, it's really tough for me to read him too. I mean, he's a maiden. You always have to factor that in, right? And horses will get it done eventually. It reminds me of the other Asmussen horse in the past, Publisher, right? Like
Yep.
eventually he broke through. Um, the maiden race, I don't know. I want to give it a little bit more weight now, knowing that it was won by Baby Vino and his following 2 efforts. He ran well. I'm not a big fan of Desert Gate, who did win the Texas Derby, but I did think in the Iowa Derby, this horse was rolling late against a trip that maybe didn't work out for him, knowing that JJ Gray commanded on the front end. I actually give him quite a bit of credit for last out.
We move to Wayne's Law. He's a stakes winner. You could probably just put a line through the turf race, 2 starts back in the English Channel, didn't really fire all that much that day, but he did have some legitimate trouble at the start. So probably just a race you can excuse. It's a really honest Florida bred. He was second behind Renegade in the Sam F. Davis, and then he stumbled when in tough in the Florida Derby. The blinks come on. Maybe they could try to get some of that speed back because he did have a lot of speed earlier on in his career. He hasn't been able to show it quite as much in the last few races. If they want to go with him, he could be one of the quicker in here. He was a little bit flat last time out when third, chasing like a lone speed winner that day. I think this is a better spot for him, and I could see them trying to put him on the front end in here.
Keep on going back to the Sam F. Davis. I understand he was 48-1, but you're second to Renegade. That has to hold some weight. You talked about his early speed in here. Does he want to go this far? I really don't know, but I think there's at least a conversation of, can he stick around for a piece at what should be a good price? I think it's the case, especially with blinkers going on. I will say, if he's like 4-1 in here, Gino, I can't really use him. He has to be value. But I kept on going back to the Sam F. Davis. And I think if he can do something like that this weekend at Mountaineer, he's getting a piece of the try.
He should give you a really nice run for your money too, because I just expect them to try to get him out of the gate, to try to put him in the mix early, because that's what worked so well for him earlier in his career. And as you pointed out, price wise, like, yeah, if he's 6-1-ish or above, sure, he can give you a nice little brief thrill on the front end. Bull by the Horns rounds out the field, stakes winner. He won the rush away on the synthetic back at Turfway Park, beating Trendsetter. That was in March. Since then, the Preakness, he was 20-1. He ran sixth. Then in the Ohio Derby, added the blinks. He was last of 9 early. He was kind of all in early. He finished 10 lengths behind Trendsetter that day. What do you think about Bull by the Horns here on the outside?
I like the rush away. I don't like anything else because I can't really assess his first 2 races. The buyers aren't all that great. I don't know. He rallied from mid-pack to graduate going the 1-turn mile at Gulfstream, and he got a really light figure. Like, what was in that bunch, right? That's what's
Yeah.
tough for me to really assess with him. So I have to pass. I mean, this is like another horse that you look at the Rushaway, you think of the Rushaway compared to, say, the Jeff Ruby and Mountaineer and West Virginia Derby compared to others. It's probably the right spot for him, but I just don't like enough of his resume to get involved.
The Grade 3 West Virginia Derby is going to go as race number 8 on Sunday, August the 9th. $400,000 up for grabs. Let's move to our selections for this one, Ashley. And I thought we kind of isolated the 2 value horses if you're going to go away from JJ Gray, with Zinhall and with Wayne's Law as maybe being those horses that could offer you some value. They kind of are horses that are moving in the right direction. Wayne's Law is a horse who has some good, maybe some back class and some early speed. How did you stack him up here?
I can't see past the 4, JJ Gray. I think he is the horse to beat, but we talked about the prices. We both will use the 7 Wayne's Lawn here for the fact that I think he is a factor from the pace perspective and can probably stick around. Does he necessarily want to go this far? Probably not, but I don't know if that matters if you're looking for a price underneath.
Yeah, we both think JJ Gray is hands down the horse to beat. I'll give Zinhall a little bit of a look, but with these types of horses, the price has to be right. And if Zinhall is like 7-2, that's way too short for me. I need at least like 5-1 or above, because he will need to improve. He will need to show that he's maturing and stepping forward in the right way. So we'd always love to hear from you. Make sure to drop a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and best of luck when you're playing the races this weekend at Mountaineer.